Good morning, everybody. It's been raining a little bit here in Michigan. It's Sunday, and normally go to church with the family today, but we're preparing to go to Florida. My sister's getting married, and I'm also going down to do some interviews with some oil workers that have quit their jobs. They said because of my videos and what I've done. And so today I'm actually going to wrestling, Michigan wrestling. I'm a huge fan of college wrestling. I wrestled 17 years of my life. I was a high school coach. I was a junior high coach. I helped out in college. I wrestled in the Navy. I also wrestled in college. MVP of my team. I was academic All-American in college. And I didn't always have good grades, but you know, I got it in gear and tried to do the best I can. I'm just, you know, a poor farm boy, but now I'm a whistleblower. And that's what I kind of want to talk about today, is that, you know, we gotta come together. I've learned a lot in the last 7 years. I went from an oil worker and I woke up. I realized what they're doing to all of us. They're poisoning us slowly. And they don't care because they run the pharmaceutical companies and they run the water companies, and they profit when we get sick, and they profit when the water's polluted because they just sell you bottled water. You know, I was in Flint and I interviewed lots of sick people. I still have to get those videos edited and get them out. And I was at camp, and there is polluted water all over the country. It's not just Flint, Michigan. Chicago, LA. Some of these places are even worse than Flint. They just haven't got the national attention yet. And so when I went to Hollywood, I rubbed shoulders with some big boys, and I'm not starstruck. You know, what they do is wonderful, but they're actors, you know. It's just a normal job, just like every other job. There's a lot of popularity in what they do, and I admire what they do. You know, I admire them to come forward and try to use their popularity to do good things, so I do admire that too. Well, they're talking about making a TV series where they follow me around like a reality show, so I'm safer. So I always have cameras with me. So I always have the ability to, you know, have some protection without having to pay a security guard on a daily basis, which I can't afford anymore. And thank God I have some really good friends. Esperanza, I have Angie. Those are two of my dear friends that travel with me. Chris, he just went with me to California and back, and many, many more. So I want to thank them for all the time and effort that they put into me, you know, to travel with me. And Aldo, you know, I met him in Chicago. He asked me to come to a church to give a speech, and wonderful guy, activist. He was in Standing Rock, and he said, "Hey, John, come do a presentation for us." So I showed up, and we became friends, and he went to California with me the first time. So I have a troll that watches all these videos. His name's Rod Weber, and he's doing everything he can to get you in the whole country not to see the truth about what happens with these oil spills. I have evidence that he is a tiger swan infiltrator. He infiltrated me for 5 weeks out to Standing Rock, stayed with me, used me. I had a hard drive stolen. He's the one that took it. How do I know? Because in his footage, he has my footage that I own, that was on my hard drive. I had to get an attorney to, you know, tell him to stop harassing me. tell him to stop, you know, using stolen footage. What these guys do, this another guy, Chris Wamhoff, what they do is when they steal your footage, they turn it around and say that you stole it, so that way they can relieve some of the people that are leaving comments on their page, because they try to turn it, they try to twist it. Everything he says in his videos, he tries to twist it. It's called yellow journalism. And they'll take 3 words or 5 words or whatever, you know, just small things. He says I was bought off by big oil. I never have got a dime from any oil company ever. That's 100% lie. He says that I stole footage. I've never ever had anybody ever make a complaint to any court saying I took any footage, not one time. He says that I falsified footage, like I edited it wrong. I've never edited a video where anybody has ever said that I manipulated the video. Matter of fact, Rod Weber is the one that manipulates the videos. On a daily basis, he does that. I mean, he was out there with the Republicans. He even told me, he said, hey John, I was on stage with Jeb Bush 14 different times. Now listen here, nobody is going to go on stage with a presidential candidate, Republican, if he doesn't tell those Republicans that he's on their side and he's supporting them, or he makes them look good when he's on stage. I know there's some video out there where with him and Trump, good. I'm glad that him and Trump had a disagreement. I have a disagreement with Trump. But for him to brag about being on stage over 20 times and 14 times with one of the leading, you know, Republicans in the country, and his brother was the president, admirable that he's getting on stage, but it's not admirable that he puts everybody down that talks about Republicans when he's actually the one on stage supporting the Republicans. And don't let him fool you. I was there 5 weeks. I mean, he even told me that him and his girlfriend broke up because she didn't want him around her daughter anymore. You know, he told me a lot of things secret to him, you know, and I don't know what's true and what's not true. But I do know that that's what he said, that he couldn't date her anymore because of her daughter. So then, of course, he puts me down for what? 17 years ago for something I did that I've, you know, made my amends with. I've talked to God many times about it. So I'm going to move on. I want to talk about really good things. I don't want to talk about a loser like Rod Weber that has did nothing but terrorize my family. Rod Weber is hurting my children. Rod Weber, Chris Wamhoff, and Michelle Barland-Smith are putting my kids' lives in danger with the mean things that they say and the attention that they're trying to bring in a negative way to my family. They are putting my kids at risk. You have to understand, he has called and they have emailed hundreds and hundreds of people to not fund what I'm doing, to not watch my videos that tell the truth. I mean, he has literally tried to ruin the water protective movement. He's trying to, he's got to be working for Big Oil and Tiger Swan. He's got to be. He's got to be paid off. There's no logical reason why anybody would spend hundreds of hours putting together videos and sending out hundreds of emails and calling hundreds of people and groups. There's no logical reason unless they're paid off infiltrators. So you think twice before you trust them. And you can ask William Hawk. He is very high up in the tribal world, and he said that at Standing Rock, Rod Weber was voted out, and he was voted out of all security groups. He was not allowed to be a part of any security group. That's a fact. You can ask William Hawk that. And they did vote on me, and of course they voted me in. And the reason why I didn't work with any of the security people is because I was never going to get framed. I didn't want to know any secrets out there. I just wanted to do my job, educate the people. Leonard Crow Dog asked me to educate the people about what's going on. Archibald actually asked me to come out to Standing Rock, and it was a change in my life. And I also want to add that we all have to come together. We have to be peaceful, but we have to be smart and strong, and we have to stand together. We have to love each other. We do. We have to love one another. And we have to protect Mother Earth, because our kids and our grandkids are not going to make it to their 50th birthday if we don't do something about this. We have to really get off the sofa, and we have to care about each other. We have to do the right thing for humanity. It's not about you, it's not about me, and it's not about popularity. When I talk about going out and giving speeches and trying to be in the public eye and getting a documentary made and a movie made, it has nothing to do with me. It has to do with the police officers in my local township and county that have told me, your life's in danger, John Bolenbaugh, and the only way you're going to protect your life and your kids' life is being very public. The more popular you are, the more public you are, the safer you and your kids are. And then, of course, I have trolls that sit there and try to hurt my family. So, but it's the way it is. And God has protected me. There is a half dozen times where I know for a fact God intervened in my life to protect me and my kids. You know, I was driving down the road one day and something had me grab the wheel, and I mean, it was just a feeling, and I squeezed that wheel, and when I did, I had 2 tires pop, and if I wouldn't have been holding onto the wheel, I would have not been able to have control, and we would have flipped the vehicle, and my 2 kids would have died. So I do know that God is working through me, because I don't like being a whistleblower. I don't want to do what I do. I have to do it because this is what I feel God, He wants me to do. This is what I feel is my crusade, I just believe it's in me. I mean, I made helpa.org 4 years before I ever saw the cover up. I had no clue. It just popped in my head. Honor environment, love people, protect all. You know, it's perfect. And I know it looks like Help Pennsylvania, but other than that, it's perfect. So, my heart is true. I've had people that can talk to the spirits that said, I'm the chosen one. And that's their words, not mine, in the tribal world. And that, I cried. It's such an honor. You know, I didn't cry at that time because I was in such shock. But later on, I cried because for people that actually have those abilities and those powers that are that close to God, to be able to know these things and see my heart and see who I'm true and see what I'm doing is for all of us. It's selfless, you know. I don't know any other whistleblower in the history of the world that's ever done what I've done, as much as I've done, as long as I've done, and put themselves in danger as long as I have. You have Snowden. Snowden knew he was going to be murdered. And the truth is, Snowden would be murdered if he was in the United States. He would be dead already. Somebody would have murdered him. Somebody from our government would have murdered him. It's just the way it is. 7 whistleblowers from the Gulf oil spill came up missing or dead in the first year. 60 holistic doctors that are curing cancer have came up murdered or dead in the first year, in the last year. You know, whistleblowers die all the time. There's 2 people that came forward and said there was a second shooter in Vegas. They have been murdered in the last 2 weeks. As soon as they posted stuff trying to gather all the people together that know and saw that there was a second shooter, those 2 people have been murdered. So whistleblowers do get killed. It's just a fact. I don't even know why I'm still alive. God has to be protecting me. Your prayers have to be protecting me. There's no other logical explanation for this. You know, I've costed a company $1 billion, and I'm costing the industry billions of dollars, because now there's people like you that actually form groups in your community to stop pipelines. And when you do stop a pipeline, even if it's 6 months or a year, you just costed that company $500 million or $1 billion in lost revenue, because they didn't have that pipe working for that extra year. There's $80 trillion worth of oil out there, and in Canada mostly. And they're trying to squeeze out that revenue before solar and wind takes over. My job is to make sure that we tell the world about this renewable energy. We get people to go solar before, you know, it's too late. You can go to freedomfromfossilfuels.com, and it'll lead you to a video. You can watch it, but you can get zero down solar, which will bring the value of your home up $20,000 to $30,000. After 10 years, you got it paid off, and your bill's less than your electric bill today, and then you have free electricity after that. Or you can, some states you can sell it back because you'll use more than what you actually need. It's very smart to go solar now in your home. So if you want to talk to me about solar, email me. Get on my website at helpa.org, HELPPA.org. Get on the website. My phone number's on there. Call me up and tell me you want solar. And what I do is we have people all over the country and Canada that I'm working with, and we try to find them solar. You know, it's kind of funny. I gave a speech in Dallas, Texas for a company called Power, POWUR, and I mentioned every time you put solar on someone's home, you're helping my family. Now, what that means is that you're helping us not use fossil fuel as much. That's what it meant, you know. But this Rod Weber guy, he puts in his video, he makes it look like I'm making all this money from you putting solar on your homes. I don't make a dime from anybody putting solar on their homes at all. I have not made one penny. Thank you, Clint. I appreciate it. I have not made one penny, but he makes it look like I'm getting multi-rich from having this company put solar in people's homes. That's how crooked this guy is. That's how devious he is. That's how much of a liar he is. You know, he manipulates the words because he has no evidence against me. I haven't did anything. I haven't did anything criminal. I haven't did anything unethical. He has nothing on me. He makes up stuff. He said I didn't get shot with a rubber bullet. Thank God I have somebody, his name's Jason White, that has me on video. I got shot with a rubber bullet, bend down, and I pick it up. You know? But Rod Weber will tell you that I told him that it never happened, and that's 100% lie. That's what he'll tell you. You know? I've never met anybody in my life so evil than this guy. You know? I just don't understand the lie. I can understand it if it was a oil worker, but for someone that tries to say he's a water protector, obviously he's not. There's no evidence that he is. So I'm going right now to all the colleges. I'm actually on the advisory board for the Michigan Hall of Fame, and I work with all the coaches, Central Michigan, Michigan State, Michigan, all the Olympic wrestlers from Michigan. I'm friends with all of them, and I'm going to get pictures of water protector shirts with all the college wrestlers and the college coaches, and we're gonna in the future put out a calendar for that, and then we're gonna split the money. The colleges will get 50% and I'll get 50%, which will help them raise some money. And so and also, you know, I'm about ready to put out a fundraiser so I can have a budget for 2018. We're doing a national tour. Another thing that we're doing is we're going to have a whistleblower convention where we're going to have whistleblowers come. We're going to have something called superheroes, where people are being interviewed about great things that they do in their communities. So we're going to have these superheroes, and we're going to have these whistleblowers come together, and we're going to have them have a convention where they can tell their story. It's going to be national news. It's going to be big time. And we're doing that next November 9th, 10th, and 11th. Save those dates in California, November 9th, November 10th, November 11th of 2018. Save those dates. We're going to have one of the biggest whistleblower conventions in the history of the world. And I'm going to make sure that it happens. I'll do everything in my power. And so on 11/11, November 11th, we're having a fundraising concert. We have some bands coming, actresses, actors, some famous people, where we can try to raise money for me to travel around the country and document more oil spills. I know of 4 oil spills right now I need to go to. I want to talk about, when I get bigger, I want to be able to talk about pharmaceutical and water and vaccines and what you think is conspiracy theories, but they're not. 9/11 was set up, 100% set up. No doubt in my mind. I did the investigation. I've checked it out. I've talked to thousands of people about, over the years about that. 9/11 was set up by our government. And I want to talk about all those things. I only talk about things I've investigated. I don't just make things up. And I love all of you. Thank you for being on here. Thanks for supporting me. I want to thank you when you call me a hero. It makes me feel really good. But I want you to know something, that I'm just doing what I need to do for my kids and my grandkids. At the time I was doing it, I wanted to be a martyr. I was hoping they called me a liar and they ruined my life, and they killed my uncle and my dog and my cat, and I wanted them to kill me. I wanted to be a martyr. Things have changed. I have kids now. I want to live now. I don't want to die before my time. I want to live until I'm 100 years old, and I want to expose as much as I can to help the world. And I'm fighting for my kids now. Before, I was fighting for your kids, and I would have laid down my life for anybody, even my enemy. I will die for Rod Webber. If someone's going to kill Rod Webber, I will jump in front of the bullet. That's the type of guy I am. Even my worst enemies, I will do that. I will do anything I can. If they're being brutalized and picked on, I will protect them. How do I know that? Because I've did it to other enemies that I've had. Back in the day in high school, bullies that would pick on me. Later on, when I got stronger and bigger in wrestling, and I was the toughest guy in my school, and I was 140 pounds. I could beat anybody. Our 189 pounder I could beat. Our heavyweight, our 275 pounder I can beat in wrestling. I can beat every one of them. I even took my high school wrestling coach down before, and he never, in 2 years of wrestling in the Olympics and in the World Championships, in 2 years, nobody took my high school coach down. Nobody in the whole world. And in high school, I took him down one time, and I am so proud of that. I just got lucky, put it that way. He is a badass. He would just go through the whole team and whip on all of us. But I'll tell you what, I'm going to meet him right now. My high school wrestling coach, his name's John Major. He has 13 bachelor's degrees. He has 4 master's degrees. He was top 3 teacher of the year last year in Michigan. He just retired. He was one of the best teachers in the history of Michigan. Amazing, amazing man. And he has been my best friend since high school. He has been my dad. He has been my best friend. I was engaged to his daughter. That didn't work out. It wasn't me. She just wanted to move on and date somebody else because we had a little bit of an age difference. And love her to death. She is still a good friend of mine. We still all hang out together. But this man he's not my father, but he's like my father. He is a good, honorable man, and he has stood by me. And we go to all these wrestling events together because he believes in me, and he wanted me to be on the board for the Wrestling Hall of Fame. He's the one that got me on the board because he believes in me. You know, I'm not perfect. I've made mistakes, but he knows what's in my heart. And if any reporter ever wants to talk to him to get to know who I am, John Bolenbaugh, from somebody that's been around him for 30 years, that's not blood related, you know, just give me the opportunity to have him talk to you, and you'll see who I am for real. So, good morning, everybody. So I know Clint's on here. Who else is on here? Say hi, will you? I love Michigan wrestling. I just want to talk about that for a minute. Michigan is going to be really good in wrestling this year. They would have a national championship team this year if it wasn't for Penn State and Ohio State. Penn State is just kick-ass right now. They had 5 national champions last year. I have a picture with me and Cale Sanders, which is he won the Olympics. He was undefeated in college, 159-0. He's an amazing coach. They got 6 out of the 7 national championships in the last 7 years, 6 of them. And yeah, me and him got pictures together. It was so cool. So there's a lot of people that believe in me. I just want you to know that. And I believe in you. I believe that you are going to help me change the world. We are going to make this world a better place. We are going to protect our water. We are going to make sure that when our kids are drinking water from the city, that it doesn't have fluoride in it as much as what they're trying. I mean, Kalamazoo, Michigan, they had literally 7 times the fluoride that's supposed to be in your water in Kalamazoo, Michigan. They're trying to poison us. I don't know why. Maybe it's depopulation. I don't know the answer, but it doesn't make any logical sense why they would try to hurt us as much as they do. So I love all of you. I got your back. I hope you got my back. You ever want to go to my website and share it? I have a trailer coming out with the fundraiser. I have over 30 groups going to help me fundraise. Big groups. And we got to get enough money for 2018 to have this whistleblower convention and to be able to travel to the country and give speeches and document other oil spills. And the trolls out there that are trying to stop this from happening, just leave them a message. Tell them to stop. Leave John Bolenbaugh alone. Leave helpa.org alone. Stop lying. You know, go after them. You have to be aggressive and go after them in the most ethical way you can without being mean. You just have to just get the truth out. And about the national anthem, you know, I fought for my country. I have a Bronze Star. If somebody wants to get on their knee, I've thought about this. I guess it's okay. You know, that's the freedom of speech. I wish they would do it during a game. They would get 1,000 times more attention if they did it while they're running a football and they just get on their knee. Seriously. But no one's got enough balls to do that, or the front line of a team actually getting on their knee during a play and letting the other team score a touchdown. None of those guys got enough balls to do that, but they'll do it during the national anthem. I think it's disrespectful, but they have freedom of speech. If that's what they want to do, that's up to them. But I've already talked to the Detroit Lions. They actually contacted me. I couldn't believe it. And they asked me my opinion because they know I'm a Navy veteran with a Bronze Star. And I told them, I said, I'm never going to go to a Detroit Lions game again until those men stand for the national anthem. Now, I'll do anything I can to stop brutality. I will confront a police officer. You've seen me do it before. If they're wrong, I'll make sure the world knows about it. I support everybody that is against crooked cops. But I also support the good cops. Those cops will someday protect you and your kids. They risk their lives on a daily basis. I support those police officers. And the police officers in my community went from thinking I was a bad guy to now supporting me. Police officers now will take pictures with me. They'll stand in front of my RV where it says Big Oil Whistleblower, and they will get pictures with me. in front of my mobile TV unit where I educate people about oil spills. They will now stand and get pictures with me. I support those police officers because they care. I've talked to them. There is a few bad apples out there. Thousands of bad apples, out of the 100,000 police officers. But they're not all bad, and we need to support our police officers. We need to support the military, but we also need to make sure that the corruption is not as thick as it is. It's sickening seeing some of these shootings of unarmed people. I'm a wrestler. I don't need a gun to go beat up that unarmed person, because I'll just tackle him with a single leg and put him in a chokehold. But these police officers are so scared, they shoot the person. They don't even have any physical contact because they are scared. And I can understand being scared for your life, but they just don't have the education or the physical skills to protect themselves properly. And that's why I think all police officers should be, they should be wrestlers. For 10 years, you should be a wrestler before you become a police officer. So you're not so scared that you pull out your gun and shoot somebody that's unarmed. That's just a coward right there, in my opinion. So I'm gonna let you go. I've been on here 30 minutes. The people that are on here, I love you. One of these times they're gonna kill me, and I just hope that you guys will amplify what I'm doing. Take all my footage, write books about it, make movies about it, tell the world about what I'm doing. Use clips like this, where I'm openly giving up my life to protect all of you. And I'm okay with dying, because when I'm in heaven, I'm just going to be a kick-ass angel if God allows me to go to heaven. And I'm going to do everything I can from heaven to haunt these oil executives, these water polluters, these GMO, where they put poison in our cereal for the kids. Yes, if you check the ingredients on some of the cereals, there's carcinogens that cause cancer in your kid's cereal. It's a fact. They're doing it to us. They're trying to give us tumors. They're trying to kill us off at 30, 40, 50 years old. I mean, 1/3 of the population now has cancer. Pretty soon 50% of the population is going to have cancer. And I'm almost here. So I love you guys. I'll talk to you later. God bless all of you. And veteran to veteran, I love y'all. And for those of you that were not veterans, please support the veterans. We deserve it.